This video is the first in a series of analyses on Erin Hunter's new book, Thunder and Shadow, and contains spoilers for Chapter 1. If there's one question I've tried to answer over the course of this channel, it's why am I still reading Warriors? I've had plenty of ideas as to why, ranging from its escapist appeal to the style in which events are written in, but the first chapter of Thunder and Shadow reminded me why I get so excited for new books to come out in the first place. Sure, new developments and ideas are what gives this series the depth that I love to talk about. However, what makes the main series so fun to keep up with are the characters themselves. One of the things that Erin Hunter does really well at the beginning of Thunder and Shadow is immediately immersing the reader back into the world of Warriors. In the first pages of the book, the characters are the ones that steal the spotlight. All of the major players from the Apprentice's Quest, from Alderpaw to Jayfeather to Twigkit, all get moments that really emphasize what their characters are all about. For example, the first chapter opens up with Twigkit playing near Alderpaw in the medicine den, with Jayfeather getting perpetually more annoyed as the scene goes on. We get an immediate sense of both Twigkit's relationship with Alderpaw as well as her isolation from others a moon removed from her sister Violetkit's forced adoption. And speaking of that, fuck you, Rowan Star! I'm sure you'll agree with me, dear reader, that I took great pleasure in watching this haughty buffoon standing in ThunderClan camp with his tail between his legs, begging for help as both Jayfeather and Leafpool not so passively lecture him on what a complete malevolent maladroit of a leader he is. So that was pretty cool, and more importantly, there's immediate continuity of characters from the end of the previous book. With such a dramatic and heart-wrenching ending to the Apprentice's Quest, Erin Hunter had to make sure the first sequel in this arc kept that momentum going. Sure, there were plot threads that needed to be settled, but the action essentially stalled by the end of the book. That's why the decision to focus so much on the characters in the first chapter really works. As readers, we immediately remember why we care so much about what will eventually happen in the story. There's a really funny moment right before Rowan Star appears where Graystripe shows up and asks for herbs and also informs the medicine cats of the Shadow Clan leader's arrival. This comes right after Jayfeather's been complaining and being a lovable little Grinch for the last 10 minutes, and he responds abrasively to Graystripe's last-second announcement saying, "Why didn't you tell us?" And then Graystripe's all like, "I just did."
Gotcha, bitch!
And then 1,000 MLG horns start sounding off, and Jayfeather's guts spill all over the floor as he's brutally wasted by everyone's original favorite Joker. It's just a small thing, but it's a wonderful little payoff that reminds us how awesome Graystripe is and how funny every scene Jayfeather's in can be. At this moment, I was hooked. This was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, less than a dozen pages in, and the plot hadn't even started rolling yet. Then, after those boisterous passages, we get our first real character development moment from Twigkit, a new and supposedly important character who we should care about. With her status as a loner without her sister established just earlier in the book, Twigkit asks Alderpaw if she can come with him to ShadowClan to visit Violetkit. Unfortunately, he has to tell her no, so then Twigkit does literally the cutest thing ever. She comes back to Alderpaw carrying a red feather and asks him to take it to her sister, explaining, "Violetkit found one before they took her away. She kept it in our nest because she thought it was so pretty. This isn't the same one, but I found this one at the edge of camp the other day and I knew Violetkit would like it." She stared at Alderpaw eagerly. "You'll take it to her, won't you? And tell her it's from me?" Oh my god, so many feels. Poor, lonely Twigkit is sitting there in the middle of a clearing with her melon-shaped eyes watering, asking her only friend in the world to give her sister a sentimental gift to show that she loves her. This is the perfect way to establish Twigkit's character. We see the innocent and honest love pouring out of her broken heart as dopey Alderpaw stands there trying not to cry like the reader. I live for these moments. It's such a great emotional payoff that really drives home the reality of the situation and also lets the reader know right off the bat of the new book that the writers haven't forgotten about the events that have previously transpired. This might seem really basic, but it's so important that Erin Hunter got this right. We had to wait half a year to find out what happened next in the story, and for most people, the traumatic separation of Twigkit and Violetkit was the biggest emotional hangover from the Apprentice's Quest. By addressing this in both a humorous humorous and touching way in the first few pages, we immediately return to that state of mind from 6 months ago, eager to follow this plotline to its next development. We remember how to care all over again. This isn't only important for us, but for the actual characters as well. Alderpaw has obviously been thinking about it and been trying to lessen the impact over the last moon by looking after Twigkit, but now he too is smothered with the weight of it all. This makes his idea to set up a secret meeting between the two sisters at the end of the chapter make so much sense to both he and the reader. After the way all of this has been built up all chapter long, we can fully get behind this rash emotional decision. Erin Hunter has again reminded us who and what we're fighting for.